The new Fanatec CSL pedal set was released to be a replacement of the Elite and a pedal set to cover the entry level of Fanatec's offering. As a budget option, they have a few component choices there that can feel a little bit lackluster, like the spring rates or even the brake foam. So once again, 3D Wrap threw the whole kitchen sink of mods at me so I could test them on this video that might correct some of these shortcomings. Today's video will be centered in the mods for the base CSL. We're talking about the 2-pedal version that costs $79.95. 3D Wrap as sent before the load cell mods. I had mixed feeling about those. If you want to check that video out, it will be on the top right corner. So what they sent was the throttle and clutch pro kit, the zero noise brake mod, and the brake pro kit. For this video, I'll be using everything except the clutch pro kit because I'll be using the base 2-pedal set. As always, most of these parts are made out of this yellow foam or rubber compounds. Yellow is a very common color for items in Italy, where these parts come from. It is built out of the same material as always, so we're talking about 3D printed foam. We're not talking about pasta here, that would be silly. The finish is about the same as always. Sometimes you'll see 3D printed material hanging about. Normally, that doesn't cause any issues. As for prices, we are talking about $6.90 for the zero noise brake set, $22.90 for the brake kit, and $29.90 or €49.90 for the clutch and throttle pack, depending if you buy one or both. Depending on your choices on what you buy, how many mods you buy, and its intended use, this might be a negligible cost or something really expensive. Starting with the brake, it has 5 different profiles with different styles of force, they claim. The throttle and clutch, they have 3 if the cam system is removed. The throttle and clutch pro kit also works as an almost zero noise system. Anyways, the installation process is relatively straightforward, bar the throttle and clutch, which does require some tinkering. If you need extra help, the installation process is laid out at their site. My tip regarding the installation of the throttle mod is to leave the pedal profile mount to the last step. Install the mechanism first. This will greatly simplify inserting the mounting bar. For any of these mods, parts of the pedals need to be disassembled so they can fit into place. For the rubber, it's easier to remove the rubber cradle from the pedal, hence requiring some disassembly. If you want to change the brake stiffness, while the mod is simple indeed, it may require some patience if you want to try different combinations, because every time you want to try a new combination, you need to remove the cradle from the pedal set. Having all of these mods on the CSL is once again a hit and miss, sometimes very miss indeed. Starting with the throttle, it does add some resistance, which is very nice, and that's really about it. Honestly, the camped profile in it barely feels any much different from a linear feel, and after a while it will feel exactly completely linear. The added resistance is nice, though I much rather have a regular sprint system with preload. Now, because this mod covers the metal part of the brake, the softer rubber will make the throttle pedal feel extremely silent. The same is true for the brake pedal silent mod. The brake pro kit, though, is very interesting indeed. I don't particularly like the soft rubber on the CSL, so this system adds the necessary resistance to it. Though for me, the softest rubbers of this mod are just barely any stiffer than the stock CSL foam. I would guess that because of this mod could still be used with the pedal set in the floor. As for use feeling, the brake pedal mod is okay, you shouldn't expect anything out there. The added stiffness is a must for me, though at so low force, those graphs they add at the side are barely felt at all in the feet and hips. So basically, in essence, there's a choice of stiffest to hardest, and that's really about it. Throttle modulation and trail braking should feel fine if you're already used to the stock foam. If you want to get any conclusions on these mods, you really need to have the price of the pedal set in mind. You'll have to remember that the base Fanatec CSLs aren't an expensive pedal set at $79.95. The non-load cell version with the clutch is $129. All of these mods that are installed on my pedal set that you see on the video, they are about €60. If you add the clutch, it will be $75. That's roughly 2/3 of the price of the pedal set. With that in mind, I have a few opinions about these mods. First of all, decking all of these mods into the CSL pedal set isn't really worth it. At the price of the pedal sets, if you start buying all of these mods for the non-load cell or even the load cell version of them, might as well just spend a few more and buy V3 and correct most of the downsides. Therefore, the best way to go about is to simply correct what you feel is needed. In this case, and in my opinion, the most useful and cost-effective mod on this patch they sent is the Brake Pro Kit. For the price, there's 5 choices of brake resistance and they can be used on the floor in the softest setting. The Pro Throttle and clutch are nice, but I much rather have a proper spring. I'm not really big into this cam system and roller system that you can't really customize. As always with the 3D wrap mods, it really is going to depend what you're looking for. There's no point buying mods that you don't need. Just look at the issue that your current pedal set has and try to improve it from there.